G'day, welcome back to another episode of Togl. Well, I'm just heading up to the block at the moment and it's bloody cold. And I thought I'd show you, this is one of the most dangerous corners around in this region. And I'll show you why. It comes down the hill there, all the way down. You can see how all that grass is really frosty there. I'm just going to jump around here. So yeah, all really frosty over there, but it comes straight down into this really hard left turn, and look at that. See all this white? That's ice. So this corner doesn't get the sun until very late. It gets very wet in here, the moisture seems to build up, and then she's just like a freezer pocket. And that is all ice, and so many cars have come down here, turned, and just ended up smashed over there. We've even stopped and helped people before. Really bad corner. But yeah, I mean, you hear of black ice, but look at that, that's visible. That is white frost all over the road and slippery as hell. So yeah, that's a pretty dangerous corner that we've got here, and we always have to be really careful in winter time coming down around that. So yeah, I'm heading up the block. I've got some more trees to chop up that have come down, a bit more ditching and that sort of stuff, so just trying to clean up still after that storm. And as I said, it's cold. I mean, I just got out of the car with the heater on and I can feel how cold my ears are getting. So once I get up the block, it'll be jacket and beanie weather. I'll see yous up there. Well, I spent the morning covering all the dirt over that pipe that I just put in, and eventually there'll be gravel over the top of that as well when the whole road gets gravelled, and that'll sort out that little drainage issue over there. It is an absolutely gorgeous day today, even though it was a really frosty morning, and there's actually still frost over in the shadow of the car, and it's now midday. Because it's midday, I'm hungry, so today I've brought up a bit of steak and bacon. I'm going to make some sandwiches, so I'm just heating up the fry pan and just going to relax for a little bit and just enjoy it. It is gorgeous up here today. It's so still, sun's out, air's cool, it's just brilliant. I love it. Steak and bacon sandwich with cheese as well. Yum. Nice way to spend the afternoon. After I finish lunch, I need to get the chainsaw set up and start trimming down more of these trees that have come down. Keep cleaning up around here. It's a big job, but we'll get there. Well, that's lunch done. Time to get back into work. Need to cut all this up so I can start moving it out the way. Because in there, right behind me, hanging off of the main timber mill shed, is where I'm going to build another roof line, and that'll be for the tractor to sit under, along with the backhoe and the slasher and the other parts. So I need to clear that space out. Well, it's getting pretty late in the day, and as you can see behind me, I've pretty much got that tree all chopped up. There's just the main trunk now and one branch sticking up over the back. So yeah, not much more, but I thought I'd just quickly film this little bit now before it gets too much darker and you can't see anything. I'm just going to finish off that other one there, but all I've done, as you can see, is just chop up. I haven't tried to cut any of it away yet, so that'll be the next big job. So all chopped up. When I come up again tomorrow or the next day, I'll start carting all of the thin spindly stuff over to the burn pile, and all the bigger you know, rounder pieces that I've cut into segments, they'll all go down to the wood pile to dry out, and there'll be our firewood in a couple of years time when it's all dry. So yeah, unfortunately it came down, but at least we make the most of it. So I need to get back into it, finish off this last bit before I go home. Well, it's another frosty one up here this morning. Now before I start clearing up all of that tree that I chopped up yesterday, I do want to get rid of that tree just behind me there that's leaning over in that direction, because it is leaning straight towards that mill, and all it's going to take is another big gust of wind and that sucker's going to go over and cause damage. So the plan is I'm going to get some rope, hoik it as far up the tree as I can and get it hooked up into the top of the tree. I've got the car parked up on the ridge, which I'll show you shortly. I'll connect it up to the winch, because even if I cut a wedge in the bottom and try and fall it in that direction, it's going to go that way because that's where all the weight's leaning. The only way I'm going to get that to fall away from the shed is by using the winch to pull it away as it's being cut. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to do this morning. So I'll get that tree down, then I'm going to tidy up all over the back. So we'll see how we go with that. First trick is trying to hoik the rope up the top and get it hooked up into the top there so that I can secure it on. We'll see how I go with that. Okay, that's about as good as I can get it. I was hoping to get the rope higher, I just couldn't get it up there. What I think I need to do is buy a smaller spool of thin line. There's something that I can then slingshot a rock up through, use the thin line to drag the thicker line, and then I'll be able to get it higher. But for now that should be okay. So I got the rope in at about that level there on the tree, and you can see where the shed is over the back. I got the car right here, so I'm going to be pulling it up this way. I just got to connect up the winch. I'll get the chainsaw and everything ready. Once everything's in place and I've made the first few cuts in the tree, I'll get the camera back on and we'll see if we can get it to come across this way. Alrighty, we are pretty much set up at the moment. I've cut out a wedge, which I will show you. Even just cutting out the wedge, the tree was starting to lean towards the shed. I could see the gap opening, so I hooked up the rope to the car winch. You can't see the car, it's just out of the frame there. just to hold it up. Finished cutting the wedge out. I've cleared a track around because you always got to have an escape route. You don't want to be rushing away from the tree at the last minute and tripping over something. Very dangerous. So I'll show you what I've cleared up over there. Then we'll make the final cuts, which should bring the tree down. At the same time, I'll use the remote control for the winch, and I'll be pulling the top of the tree over as we're making those cuts, and it should all come over nice and smoothly. So I'll take you over and show you that now. Okay, so there's the car up there, rope coming across the top, which we're quite right to walk under. That should be fine. So let me bring you around here and I'll show you. So that was the big ones that fell over before, and we come around here and you can see this is the one I've cut the wedge out already. Just there, looking forward to where the car is up on the hill. Okay, I've cleared all around the base here, making sure that I don't have all branches and stuff around, and then I've cleared this path out so I can make a quick escape if need be. So now the plan is I just need to cut in on the back in there, and as I'm cutting the back I will pull on the winch, which should be pulling the tree in that direction as I cut here, and she should go over. Lots of shoulds. We'll see how we go. And that's how you do a tree safely. I was able to just nick it. You'll notice two things there. Was when it was getting close, I would just take a little bit of a nick, stand back out of the frame there, and I was just putting a little bit more pressure on the rope to see if the gap would open or not. I also removed these because I really needed to hear the slightest crack in the trunk, so I knew at the slightest crack, like get out of there, it might be ready to go. And then yeah, on that very last go I started to hear a little bit of cracking, got out the way, probably another 4 seconds on the remote, putting that extra bit of tension on, and it brought her down and I was well out the way. So that's a really good outcome. That tree's come down in the correct direction. It's not going to fall on the shed now. You'll know by the sound of that. If that had to come down on the shed, it would have caused thousands, tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage. So it's good that we've got that one out of the way now. So I'm not even going to bother trying to clean that tree up today. I want to clean up the space where I was chopping up that tree you saw yesterday. So I'm going to get back down there, get the tractor out, and start cleaning up all of that blackwood down there that we had to cut up from the other one that came down the other week. Alrighty, so this is the state of play we were at from the other day. Once I'd wrapped up, I'll need to cut this log again or push it out of the way a little bit. Probably cut it in half a second time actually, because it's too long for the mill. I got this one to drag out. All of these offcuts, I'll get all them down to the wood pile over the back there, and all of this other scraggly stuff that's all down through here, that's what I'll start on, and I'll drag that over to the burn pile over the back there. So yeah, a lot to do. I don't think this beanie will be staying off too much longer because it is starting to warm ever so slightly, but as soon as I start doing this, I'll be sweating. So time to get cracking on it. Well, as you can see behind me, I have managed to get a reasonable amount cleared out. Quite a lot actually, more than I thought. Anyway, it's time for lunch right now, so I'm going to have a quick bite to eat. Then, before getting into any more of that, I've actually got another task I need to do. I've been digging a trench up along the side of the road, halfway up to the main gate. There's been a lot of seepage across the road there. I want to try and divert some of that water off. So we'll head up there after lunch and get a little bit of that done. As you can see just off to my side here, I've been digging a trench right the way back down on this piece of roadway here. And the reason is that the water has been seeping down through the slope, and it was seeping across and running straight down the middle of the road. Now I'll move the camera in a minute and I'll show you, I've probably done about half the distance I need to do at the moment. So this afternoon I'm just going to finish off, but you can see in a second when I turn the camera around exactly what I'm talking about with that seepage. So you can see where the road is very glossy, and that's all the water seeping across. It's seeping right across the road. But you look up just a little bit higher up the road there, and it's all dull, and that's because the ground is dry. So where it's really glossy, that is very slippery. It's like a slip and slide. You'd struggle walking on it. And it is all seeping out of that little embankment on the right. So I'll just continue to carve the gutter up the side there, and then any water that comes out of that hillside, instead of running down the middle of the road, will actually run down along the side of the road, and it'll keep the road a whole lot drier. Obviously when it rains it's going to get wet, but on days like today where it's nice and dry and the sun's able to dry things out a bit, if that seepage water is kept off, the road will be a lot more usable. That's going to be of benefit until we get the gravel down. Well, that's all we've got time for this week. I hope you enjoyed it as usual, and I enjoy bringing these to you. Next week we're going to do something a little different. We're doing a little bit of cooking the stuff you eat and a bit of other cooking. Anyway, you'll have to wait a week and see what I've got in store for that. It is something that we've mentioned in the past, and it's about time I showed you guys how we do a few things. So till then, stay safe, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you then. Cheers.